Darth Vader was worshipped as a god on Tatooine. Yeah, bet you didn't know that.
You're fulfilling your destiny.
This video is 10 Darth Vader facts you probably didn't know, but I'm sure you do. Just pretend like you didn't. It's a boost to my self-esteem. Number 1, do not sing about his private parts. Vader had some anger issues, which is part of being a Sith, hate, anger, and so on. But what he really didn't like? Songs about his penis. We learn in Heir to the Jedi that Nikiri Kellen's mother wrote a song called Vader's Many Prosthetic Parts, and it was performed by her band 10 years before the Battle of Yavin. This song viciously mocked Lord Vader, and the Sith Lord, who some claim didn't have much of a sense of humor, decided that the song was contraband days after it was released, and the entire group was sent to the Kessel Mines to die. And if you're not up on your spice mine history, the spice mines were labor camps on the planet Kessel, where slaves were forced to mine a medicinal spice mineral to be turned into a dangerous drug. Slaves here were expendable, and life expectancy for humans was about 1 to 3 years and 3 months for Wookiees. So not looking too good for those band members by the time of Heir to the Jedi. Just don't sing about Vader's penis. I feel like that's a pretty, obvious thing not to do. Number 2, waking up. In Revenge of the Sith, Vader is put in his suit and informed that his wife is dead. We then see him using the Force to crush things around him. But Palpatine doesn't seem to be affected. Which is odd because Palpatine said he would keep her alive, so he should be taking out some of his anger and, sorrow on him, but... Well, with expanded material, we know that Vader did actually try to hurt Palpatine when he learned that Padme died, yelling that he said he could save her. Palpatine, of course, quickly shut that shit down, using Force Lightning on Vader and informing his apprentice if he ever used the Force on him again, if he ever touched him with the Force again, he'd finish what Obi-Wan couldn't. He then tells Vader he's his friend, but we all know that's complete BS. Number 3. Vader had a kill switch for his suit. There was a device that turned off Vader's suit, which seems like a really huge design flaw, which is really weird for the Empire because they're not known for any major design flaws. Now, did Palpatine know about this device? Probably not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he had a clue. The kill switch was built by Dr. Silo and kept for about 20 years just in case he needed it. He finally had to use it when he was in a confrontation with Vader after A New Hope takes place. The upper hand of turning off his suit was quickly lost, though, when Vader did the obvious thing and used the Force to power his suit and kill the man. Number 4, Inquisitors. The Inquisitor program, full of Force-sensitive individuals that were tasked with hunting down the Jedi that escaped Order 66, was created by Palpatine without Vader's knowledge. After learning about it, Vader was tasked to train the Inquisitors, which he wasn't too happy with as he looked down on them and felt he should be responsible for the elimination of the Jedi. He was pretty brutal at training them as well. During their sparring sessions, he often ended up cutting off various limbs. He claimed it was to teach them about loss, but if we're being honest with each other, I think it's because he had anger issues from his duel with Obi-Wan. Number 5, Vader's first Sith lightsaber. Shortly after Vader was put in a suit, Palpatine informed Vader that a Sith takes his lightsaber. It isn't given. He also explains to Vader that kyber crystals are living and that they must be made to bleed, pain poured into them to turn them red. Palpatine tasks him with finding a Jedi that escaped Order 66, taking his lightsaber, and making it bleed. This leads him to killing quite a few people, but finally he finds a Jedi. Arriving on the river moon of Al-Dulim in the Mid-Rim, he faces off against Master Infala. Vader gets wrecked at first by the Master, but eventually takes his lightsaber, and moves on to the next part, bleeding it. Which Palpatine has him do on Mustafar because he's such a swell guy. The bleeding process is actually really sad, especially the visions he sees while doing it, and if you want, I can create a separate video going over those. I mean, it's up to you if you want to cry that day. Number 6, his duel in The Empire Strikes Back wasn't the first time he faced off against Luke. Thanks to comics, we see those two actually faced off a few times before The Empire Strikes Back, which I don't necessarily like, but I've just learned to roll with it. My favorite face-off is when Luke is intent on going after Vader, and Obi-Wan's Force Ghost tells Luke to run. Obi-Wan knew Luke would absolutely get his ass handed to him and was trying to get him out of there. Again, I don't really like that they've faced off a few times before the Empire Strikes Back duel, but again, I've gotten over it. Oh, what is cool, Luke once rammed his X-Wing into Vader's TIE Fighter, causing them both to crash land on a planet. That was actually really awesome. Number 7, a god. Vader went back to that planet. He seemed to hate a shit ton because of its sand. Quite a bit. So after A New Hope, he returned to his home planet to meet with 2 bounty hunters. While waiting for the bounty hunters, he decided to pass the time by slaughtering an entire Tusken Raider village. Obviously still very bitter about his mother's death. One raider managed to get away and reported what happened to another tribe, telling them the story of how Vader brought destruction down on his entire village. This led the camp to believe that Vader should be worshipped as a great being. So they built a monument to the Sith Lord, tied the survivor to it, and burned him alive in an offering to their new god. Number 8, Alderaan chunks. I don't know why, but I absolutely love this fact. When Vader was trying to get people and planets to fall in line with the Empire, he would sometimes give them a gift. A chunk of what was left of the planet Alderaan. This was a reminder to them what would happen if they didn't serve the Empire. How dark is that? Number 9, eating. You can imagine that the extent of Vader's injuries on Mustafar left him a little damaged. He was injured so badly that when Palpatine rescued him, it was discovered he could no longer eat normally. From that day forward, his life support armor had to feed nutrient fluids directly into his body. However, he could use a feeding tube in his private chambers when he removed his helmet. His suit also took care of his waist needs, if you know what I mean. So how do you feel knowing about how Vader makes his bowel movements? Does it make him a little less scary and epic during his duel with Obi-Wan, knowing that he could have been pooping at the same time? Number 10, tinkering with his suit. It probably isn't a shock to know that Vader tinkered with his own suit. Though it was created by Dr. Silo, Vader initially found it very difficult to fight in. I mean, he was now quite a bit bigger and less flexible. After using it for a short time and getting beat up by that Jedi I mentioned earlier, Vader then tinkered with the suit to make it to his specifications, while he was healing in a Bacta tank. That's just badass, and shows his skill with the Force. He is severely injured in a healing tank, and working with tiny parts using the Force. I fucking love Vader. So those are just 10 Darth Vader facts, but I have a ton more. So which fact was your favorite? Thanks so much for watching. Please like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars videos.